What's going on, guys? Hit Squad here again, back at it with another video. Before I get started on the topic of this video, I do want to encourage everybody to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. I won't tell if you ring that bell, so let's get into it. Now, training camp has arrived. It's currently the first week of training camp for the NFL rookies. Should have came in, just so that they could do the testing. I believe it's for the testing, which it's really good to see that the NFL has contracted with a different company for these tests for training camp as opposed to taking that from the civilians within their areas. So I think it's really good. I really like the approach. I wish the NFL would do a little bit more, but they're trying, in my honest opinion, to keep these players safe, similar to what the NBA is doing with the bubble in Orlando. Now, with training camp, there are players that I am currently looking out for that I'm interested to see how they're going to turn out. And I have a total of 5 players. Yes, 5 players that I am looking out for. Let's start with number 1, Carter Coughlin. Now, when we drafted Carter Coughlin, along with the rest of the linebackers that we drafted in the 2020 draft, I was a little skeptical. I wasn't too sure what to make of the pick because I really wanted at that point an edge rusher. We didn't really address the edge rusher position in free agency. I know we, placed the tag on Marcus Golden. We went and got Kyler Fackrell, and hopefully that can be, a diamond in the rough. But we drafted a bunch of linebackers, didn't really address the position. So it really left me kind of questioning the pick. But as I did more research on Carter Coughlin, I saw that he's actually a pretty decent player. He is actually a pretty decent player. He had a really good career with Minnesota. He's a fast player. He's smart, which that's what um, Coach Judge is trying to bring in now. These really smart players that can do multiple different positions, which is really good. He can cover. He can cover. Excuse me. He can get to the quarterback. He's a really smart player. So I'm really excited to see just overall the linebacker competition, but particularly Carter Coughlin. I think that he could make a name for himself on special team in the beginning, maybe be a rotational linebacker within maybe his first year or two. But this is a player to really look out for because I think that he has a high upside compared to some of the other players we drafted, like a TJ Brunson, which I know some of you guys are very high on. I want to do more research into it before I can give my honest opinion. I feel like it'd be doing you guys a disservice if I just gave you my opinion on something that I personally didn't look into. But Carter Coughlin, I'm really excited to see. Now, this is what I'm really excited to see as well. 2, though you guys may say, Chris, that really don't matter. I'm really excited to see who's going to be backing up Daniel Jones. Now, yes, we still have Alex Tanney. We went and got a Colt McCoy. We went and got Cooper Rush from Dallas. And if it were to really come down to me, I would personally want Colt McCoy to back up Daniel Jones. Now, I understand, Cooper Rush, he's familiar with the Garrett system. I understand that Alex Tanney, he's been here and he's, mentored a little bit with Eli Manning, Daniel Jones. But at this very same time, if I'm looking at individual success, so Colt McCoy didn't have a lot of success. Looking at individual success of these 3 players, in my honest opinion, you got to go to with Colt McCoy. So I'm really excited to see just who's going to be backing up Daniel Jones. I'm also looking at it as, God forbid, Daniel Jones has another ankle injury that he suffered last year and he's going to miss a couple games. Who are we going to trust to really guide this team? You're going to trust Alex Kenny? You're going to trust Cooper Rush? I don't think so. I would rather trust Colt McCoy, who has had some success in the NFL, was actually pretty good in college. He's a journeyman, so there's really not much to expect, but I'm really excited to see who is going to back up Daniel Jones. We hope he could be the franchise guy. I believe that he will. I know I'm a little early saying that, but I genuinely do believe that. And I'm really excited. This is going to be my first quarterback, not that is not Eli Manning of the Giants that I'm going to see. So I'm really excited to see who's going to be backing up Daniel Jones. And that can help Daniel Jones grow up in the quarterback room. Number 3, I am personally looking at the tackle positions. Yes, we know Andrew Thomas is going to make the team. We know that Matt Peart's going to make the team. But my question is, we have depth in the tackle position. We went and got Cam Fleming. We drafted Shane Lemieux. Shane Lemieux's going to be more playing on the center. Um, but we went and we got Matt Pert. We drafted Andrew Thomas. But I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out. And we still have Nick Gates and Nate Solder. So if I am putting my GM hat on, I'm starting Andrew Thomas on the left side next to Will Hernandez. I think, yes, Nate Solder did not play good last year at all, but I don't think that that was all his fault. I think that Will Hernandez had a sophomore slump, and you could be really good at your position, but if you got to carry the slack of the person next to you, it can affect your game as well. So I think there's different things that played into Nate Solder's play as opposed to him just having just a bad season. And you already know you're going to put Andrew Thomas on the left side, so why not start that chemistry there? Look, Nate Solder is not going to be the guy that he was in New England, but I think he'll be a solid right tackle until Matt Pert is ready to step up. I would give Matt Pert, if the Giants are out of playoff contention, I would give him that spot, just so that he can get, some in-season speed. He can get caught up so that he can prepare for his sophomore year, and then we can let go of Nate Solder next year, whether that's just releasing him or I doubt it, but trading him, you wouldn't really get anything for Nate Solder. But I'm very interested to see, how the tackles are going to play out. So the tackle that I'm personally looking at, I'm looking at Matt Pert. I think that Matt Pert has the ability to actually start at right tackle. Yes, I understand the Giants are not going to release Nate Solder because of his cap hit, which it's not too bad. He is making a lot of money this year, about 19 million, but at the same time, just from a cap perspective, I understand they may start Nate Solder at the right tackle position until Matt Pert is ready. But I'm really interested to see how our right side of the offense is going to look. I think it has potential. I think this offensive line in whole, has potential. But we really just have to see how that plays out. But I'm really looking at Matt Pert. I'm looking at Nick Gates. Nick Gates played fairly well, but we really just have to see how this team is going to operate. We got new coaching in. I think Mark Colombo is going to do a good job. He had success in Dallas. Yes, that was because of, well, partially because of the talent that was there, but I don't think this offensive line is as bad as people thought or think it is, because it was fairly good last year compared to 2018. Now, number 4, I am currently looking at the cornerback position. Due to the DeAndre Baker situation, we don't know DeAndre's future in the NFL. We don't know if he's going to be on the team. We don't know what exactly is going to happen. And we have depth there. We finally have depth in the cornerback position to where I'm not too entirely worried about it. Let's say, for argument's sake, the Giants cut DeAndre Baker. We cut him. Who's going to step up? Who am I looking at? I'm looking at 2 players that could battle for that spot. Now, one of them may kind of catch you guys off guard, but I'm going to explain my reasons being. I'm looking at Sam Beal and Corey Ballentine. Yes, Corey Ballentine. And I'm going to explain why. Sam Beal, we got him in the supplementary draft. And he's been riddled with injuries. However, last year was technically the first year of him playing, and he did fairly well. He wasn't that bad. Cornerback is one of the hardest positions to play in the sport. There's a reason why they pay a lot for cornerbacks. And I think that Sam Beal has the capability to be that number 2. I'm not expecting any of our cornerbacks to be a number 1 because James Bradbury is our number 1 cornerback. So I'm looking at Sam Beal. Now, Corey Ballentine was torched in the slot last year. However, I think a lot of people seem to forget how hard it is to play the slot. The slot's not that easy to play. It really isn't. And it was shown last year that he just doesn't do well on the slot. But on the outside, it's a little bit different. I think that, he has the arm length. He has big arms. He has the strength. He has the height. He has the speed. In the slot, you got to be a lot faster. In my honest opinion, you got to be a lot faster than you need to be on the outside. So I'm looking at Corey Ballentine that he could possibly step up. He has 300 snaps underneath his belt. He knows how the NFL works. Same with Sam Beal. They know how the NFL works. They know they have they have that chemistry. They're it's going to be a different defense now, but these are going to be players going into their second years. They're kind of knowing what to expect, and cornerbacks take a little bit of time for them to develop. So I'm looking at the cornerback battle between Sam Beal and Corey Ballentine to really see who's going to solidify themselves as a number two cornerback in case DeAndre Baker gets cut. Now, lastly, at number five, who am I looking at? I'm looking at the edge position. Now, bear with me a little bit. We really didn't address the edge position at all. We got Kyle Fackrell, who is 1 year away. Excuse me. He is 1 year off. In 2018, he had 10 sacks with Patrick Graham as his coach, which is the reason why we brought him here. Same reason we brought Blake Martinez was just familiarity, familiarity. So we hope that he can work out. We did place that non-exclusive tag on Marcus Golden, and I believe that's going to go until next week. So if he's not signed by next week by another team, he will be a Giant for about $5 million in change. And we still have O'Shane Zimenez. We have players that can, play the edge and players that can be rotational. Now, one of my favorite YouTubers, if not my favorite YouTuber, online Big Blue Sports, he had made a point to me which I actually really agree with. The Giants have the ability to be very similar to the 2018 Eagles with rotating their players, rotating fresh defense alignment. We have depth on the defensive line. Now, I'm looking at O'Shane Zimenez. I'm looking at hopefully Lorenzo Carter to step up. Now, Lorenzo Carter, I think, is a lot better in coverage than he is getting to the quarterback. He hasn't really stepped up in a way that we thought that he would step up. However, if I'm putting Lorenzo, covering my tight end possibly, if not my safety, um, I'm looking at O'Shane Zimenez. I'm looking at Marcus Golden to really see which one of these players are going to get to the quarterback. I personally do think that O'Shane Zimenez is going to have a breakout year this year. I believe he's going to have around 7 to 8 sacks. I understand that may not seem like a breakout, but due to the talent that we have on the defensive line in terms of our edge rushers, which isn't too good, that's not a bad number in my honest opinion. Now, and if we can rotate players consistently, that can develop its own pass rush, essentially. So I'm looking at players like O'Shane Zimenez, Kyler Fackrell to really see who's going to step up to be able to get to the quarterback. Because if we can't get to the quarterback and our secondary is getting exposed, this defense could really go in the wrong direction. So, I'm really just looking to see, what player is going to step up, what player is going to grow and step up into um, their sophomore season in terms of, on the edge. I'm looking at O'Shane Zimenez. Yes, I understand that we drafted some linebackers, that hopefully can play the edge. You can make the argument for Cam Brown, but I think that, he's going to be more of a rotational player, if not starting on the special teams. So we really just have to see. A lot of people seem to forget that a lot of the players you draft the sixth, seventh, sometimes even the fifth round don't make the team. But we really just have to see how it plays out. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who are you guys looking at in terms of training camp. Hopefully we have a season. I really do hope that we have one. However, again, if you saw in my other video, I really just want what's best for the players and for them to be safe. But let me know what you guys are thinking. We're going to drop more content as the season goes on. This is Hit Squad, and I am out. Peace.